Derby Day. All roads leading to the famous Downs and all sorts of wonderful excuses made in offices and factories, in fact in every sort of job, in order to dodge work for the day and make the trek to the famous Downs. Of course, our old friends, the Pearly King and his Queen are there, complete with family. It wouldn't seem quite right without the gypsies and the costers and all the other folk who go to make up the great Epsom crowds, rich and poor alike. And then there are always the coaches, the four-in-hands that you never see elsewhere, at least not nowadays in this motor age, when most people complain about doing less than 50 miles an hour. And another thing we often have there is also typical, our much abused English climate, in other words, rain. But even that doesn't seem to stop a single person. And the traffic, it's amazing how it all gets there and sorts itself out. If you ever look at some of the roads an hour or two before noon, you'd never think they'd see the race. That's where our famous London Bobby shines. A few years ago, they had to deal with 4,000 or 5,000 cars. Nowadays, it's more like a few 100,000. So when you get held up in a traffic block for a little while, just think of the job they've got and maybe you'll be more patient. Or if you can't be patient, well, you'd better go by air and take a look at it this way. And this is the picture that Britishers all over the world must be thinking of as the time for the race draws near. And in the far-off parts of the empire, perhaps hundreds of miles from civilization, they tune in their wireless sets and imagine themselves on the Downs again. I've got a horse! At least that's what our old friend Prince Monalulu always tells us. And you can be sure he'll be there again this year, tipping us the winner, perhaps. With His Majesty the King back to his health again, we all look forward to seeing him in the royal box. And though he has no horse running in the race this year, he'll thoroughly enjoy himself. And there can't be anything that gives him a greater pleasure than that wonderful roar that goes up as he appears.